Welcome to this lesson on rates and best value. This is a high-frequency topic on the LANTITE Numeracy Test. You'll regularly see questions that ask you to compare prices, calculate fuel consumption, or work out speeds. Today, we'll build a clear method for tackling all of these using unit rates and proportional reasoning. By the end of this lesson, you will be able to calculate unit rates, compare rates to find the best value option, and apply both direct and inverse proportion to real-world problems. Before starting, make sure you're comfortable with basic division, fractions, and ratios. Let's begin by understanding what a rate actually is. A rate is a comparison of two quantities with different units. For example, dollars per kilogram, kilometers per hour, or milliliters per minute. Notice how each rate links two different types of measurement. A unit rate is simply the amount per one unit. To calculate a unit rate, you divide the total amount by the number of units. This simple formula is the foundation for everything else in this lesson. Let's start with a basic unit rate calculation. A 750 grams box of cereal costs $6. We need the cost per 100 grams. Step 1. Find the cost per single gram by dividing $6 by 750 grams. That gives us 0.008 cents per gram. Step 2. Multiply by 100 to get the cost per 100 grams. 0.008 times 100 equals 80 cents per 100 grams. This PER-100-GRAM rate is how Australian supermarkets display unit prices on shelf labels. This is a classic LANTITE question. You're given two different sizes of orange juice and asked which is the better buy. The method is simple. Find the unit rate for each. Then compare. Brand A costs $5.40 for 2 liters, which works out to $2.70 per liter. Brand B costs $3.75 for 1.5 liters. Dividing gives $2.50 per liter. Since $2.50 is less than $2.70, Brand B is the better value. Always make sure you compare using the same unit. Speed is a rate that compares distance to time. A teacher drives 225 kilometers in 2.5 hours. To find the average speed, divide distance by time. 225 divided by 2.5 equals 90 kilometers per hour. On the LANTITE, speed questions often give you two of the three values speed, distance, or time, and ask you to find the third. The key formula is speed equals distance divided by time, and you can rearrange it as needed. Direct proportion means that as one quantity increases, the other increases at the same rate. If you double the amount, you double the cost. To solve direct proportion problems, find the unit rate first, then multiply. Here, 4 kilograms of apples cost $12. The unit rate is $3 per kilogram. So 7 kilograms would cost 3 times 7, which is $21. This find the unit rate approach works for any direct proportion problem. Inverse proportion is the opposite of direct proportion. As one quantity goes up, the other goes down. The key is that the product of the two quantities stays constant. 6 workers take 10 days to pay to school. The total work is 6 times 10, which equals 60 worker days. If you have 15 workers, divide 60 by 15 to get 4 days. More workers means fewer days. On the LANTITE, look for clues like workers and time, or speed and time for a fixed distance. Fuel consumption is a classic rates topic on the LANTITE. A car uses 42 liters of fuel to travel 600 kilometers. For Part A, we need liters per 100 kilometers. Divide 42 by 600 to get the rate per single kilometer, then multiply by 100. That gives us 7 liters per 100 kilometers. For part B, we use this rate. 7 liters per 100 kilometers means 0.07 liters per kilometer. Multiply 0.07 by 850 to get 59.5 liters. This is direct proportion. More distance means more fuel. Here is a real-world best value comparison with 3 suppliers. The school needs printed workbooks. Supplier A charges $180 for 60 copies, which is $3 per copy. Supplier B charges $320 for 120 copies, about $2.67 per copy. Supplier C charges $450 for 200 copies, which is $2.25 per copy. Supplier C has the lowest unit rate. However, notice the practical consideration. If you only need 60 copies, paying $450 for 200 copies would be wasteful. The LANTITE usually just asks for the best unit rate, but understanding the real-world context is important too. Now, pause the video and try these 5 problems. Problem 1 asks for a unit rate. Divide the cost by the weight. Problem 2 is a comparison. Find the cost per liter for each and compare. Problem 3 involves speed use. The speed equals distance over time formula. Problem 4 is inverse proportion. More people, less time. Problem 5 is a fuel consumption question. Check your answers when you're ready. Before we wrap up, here are the most common mistakes on rate questions. First, dividing the wrong way around. For example, dividing kilograms by dollars instead of dollars by kilograms. Always think about what you want per one of. Second, comparing rates with different units, like dollars per kilogram versus dollars per 100 grams. Make sure both rates use the same unit before comparing. Third, using direct proportion when the situation is actually inverse proportion. Ask yourself, if one quantity goes up, does the other go up or down? If they move in opposite directions, it is inverse proportion. Let's recap the key points. A unit rate is the amount per one unit. Divide the total by the number of units. To compare values, calculate the unit rate for each option and pick the lowest cost or highest output. Direct proportion means both quantities move in the same direction. Inverse proportion means one goes up while the other goes down. Speed is a special rate, distance divided by time. And fuel consumption in Australia is expressed in liters per 100 kilometers. For the LANTITE, always double-check your units match before comparing. Good luck with your practice.